This is Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for January 15th. The House of Representatives voted Wednesday to overturn President Obama's executive actions on immigration, also overturning a 2012 directive that safeguarded immigrants who illegally came to the United States as children. The vote passed by a margin of 236 to 191 votes. Speaker of the House John Boehner praised Republicans, saying, quote, "Let me thank all my colleagues who have worked to put this bill together. Today I rise, and the House rises, to support and defend our Constitution." Congressional Democrats were highly critical of the bill, and New York Congressman Steve Israel said it was an overtly political move. The immigration measure is an amendment to the Department of Homeland Security's funding legislation, which provides $40 billion to fund the Department of Homeland Security until September, and includes spending for cybersecurity operations and the Secret Service. President Obama has vowed to veto the bill if it passes the Senate and reaches his desk. The FBI has arrested an Ohio man for allegedly plotting an attack on the United States Capitol. The man, reportedly inspired by the Islamic State, hoped to detonate a series of explosives targeted at specific lawmakers. The suspect, Christopher Lee Cornell, is also known as Raheel Maras Ubdeya, and was arrested Wednesday on charges of attempting to kill a U.S. government official. Cornell also planned to shoot bystanders and officials in Washington, D.C., and his arrest comes the same week as another man was indicted over alleged threats to poison and murder Speaker of the House John Boehner. Broadband for America is challenging President Obama's latest push for accessible and affordable Internet for all, saying in a statement that President Obama is, quote, "risking the success we have witnessed by pushing for a reclassification of broadband as a Title II public utility." Broadband for America is challenging President Obama's latest push for accessible and affordable Internet for all as part of the net neutrality program, saying in a statement that President Obama is risking the success we have witnessed by pushing for a reclassification of broadband as a Title II public utility. Broadband for America says reclassifying broadband as a Title II utility would mirror Europe's failed overregulated utility-style model, resulting in less investment, less innovation, slower Internet speeds, and higher prices. A Progressive Policy Institute study shows, for example, Iowans would face nearly $50 in annual new wireline fees and over $50 annually in new broadband fees. In a speech on the issue, Obama mentioned executive action, indicating he may intend to bypass the legislative branch and make net neutrality law by executive order or memo. Senator Ted Cruz is the newly appointed chair of the Subcommittee on Space, Science, and Competitiveness, and a press release by the senator has called for a refocus of investment on the hard sciences and not, quote, political distractions that are extraneous to NASA's mandate. The press release also called for the U.S. to work with and lead international partners in space exploration, and that the subcommittee will take up reauthorization of the Commercial Space Launch Act to foster an atmosphere of innovation and competition as one of its first orders of business. This has been Amy Curtis with your Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for January 15th.
DLR.
This show is produced by IJReview.com.
This show is copyright by VLR Media. All opinions of panelists and guests are their own and may not reflect the opinion of VLR Media, the host, or anyone else.
Now let's be clear. Now let's be clear. There are no winners here. Now let's be clear. Now let's be clear. Now let's be clear. There are no winners here.
Two minds are better than one. Time for the right mics with Mike Miller and Michael Hausum.
Two minds are better than one indeed, particularly when they're mine and Hausum's.
This is The Right Mics with the aforementioned geniuses. Welcome to the show. If you want to ring us up, 412-567-6879. Listen live on, or catch a podcast. We prefer you go to our website. That would be The Right Mics, and that would be MIC, right, .us. Follow us on Twitter, Right Mics. By the way, again, yeah, MICS. Although we do have kind of Mike and Mike at the mic, if you get it. Listen, good news or bad news today, depending on your point of view. We have no guests, right? And of course, the really good news of that is Dad Houseman and I get to pontificate all by our lonesomes for 2 whole hours. Howsam, that might be a pretty good deal, dude.
I think that's a pretty good deal. Well, obviously, we will offer full cash refunds to those that object and fill out the correct forms.
Well, that's true. If people bought tickets in anticipation of another A-lister guest, I think you're absolutely right. We need to offer them that opportunity.
I think so, too, in the matter of fairness. But on the other hand, aren't we the definition of A-lister guests ourselves?
Well, see, there you go again, because there is no entrance fee generally, for those of us those of y'all who we've worked out a behind-the-scenes deal with, so as to avoid the RS. So, but yeah, I think that's a good deal. Anyway, also with us, as is the case every day, is the producer extraordinaire, Jessica Jane. So how you guys doing today?
Good, man. Really good. Although we can get to it, Actually, I can't say that I'm good, Mike, to be totally honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, and honestly, I wasn't sure whether or not to even bring this up off the air beforehand, because I know that you like to kind of take my temperature a little bit before we go.
Right.
But I don't know if you noticed, man. Second time in 20 years, there's not a single minority included for Best Actor, Best Actresses for the Oscars.
I actually, excuse me, I would not have known that, but I was driving. I'll tell you what I was driving to do. You'll be happy in a second. I was in the car. I was listening to Dan Patrick's radio show. And he went through the whole Oscar nominations thing and the Selma thing, right? Selma nominated for Best Movie, but Oprah and the dude that played MLK snubbed, man.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Oscar is white-seeking. I mean, the other option, there's all these members of the Academy, and they all get their little screeners, and then they watch them, and then they figure out who the best actors are of all the movies that they watch that are up for consideration. Right. The one possibility is, as they went through and evaluated all the various different acting jobs, they just happened to pick the ones that they thought were the best actors.
Right.
The other option is obviously they intentionally snub people according to melanin content of their skin.
And of course, obviously by snubbing Oprah, the dude who played Martin Luther King, they failed to level the playing field because obviously this was intended.
Well, last year that chick got that supporting actress for 12 Years a Slave. Did you ever see that movie?
I did not. I mean, I know a bit about it, but yeah, that's true. So. Yeah, I don't know what happened this year. Maybe they need to have a write-in candidate option. I don't know.
Well, or the other thing is set-asides to make up for past racial grievances that a certain percentage is applied to the vote numbers in order to ensuring equality of results, right? So
that's an excellent idea. Kind of a reparations thing from the arts and film industry to those who are snubbed because of the content of the melanin in their skin.
Well, no. Now I wasn't considering it as a reparations thing. I was more considering it as a what are the racial set-asides called? Affirmative action.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well,
the idea of reparations. That also is a really good idea.
Well, I think they need to do both.
I think that they absolutely have to do both. I mean, here's the deal. The breakdown is, according to the LA Times, they figure there's 6,000 members of the Academy. 94% are white. Now that somewhat reflects the percentage across the country. It's a little bit less.
Right.
77% are male, 86% are age 50 and over. And I don't know, man. I just think it's time that we do things differently. I mean,
Well,
imagine the horror of I mean, I look at it this way. You got to put your mind around this, but you're figuring out who the best actors are. And what if the criterion for best actors is merely the fact that they were the best actor?
well, that's not fair, because you looked at University of Michigan, in terms of enrollment. You look back to affirmative action. Well, before that, quotas and the whole bit. I mean, obviously, Hollywood, of all places. I mean, how can this happen, man?
Yeah, I don't know.
So listen, to the extent that I can console you on the air, because I know you're depressed, I will do so. But I think this is an opportunity not only for you, but for the show, because you live out there among these people. You surely can get a higher up from the Academy, and we have to bring them on the show tomorrow and rake them over the coals, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, go ahead.
Listener Dan just commented that he wants an Academy Award for trying hard. And then he immediately followed up saying, or merely trying.
There we go. All right, I have an announcement to make to you.
Okay, please do.
I said I was in the car today.
Right?
Right, I bought a MacBook Pro, dude.
You did!
I did.
Welcome to the club, man.
I know, dude. Because, like I'm on my third, maybe fourth iPhone. Got the iPad Air, the whole bit. Love it. Have always been afraid. Not afraid, but just to like, okay, do I want to, transfer everything well, you can't transfer. Do I switch from everything I know about operating PCs with Windows and then kind of adapt to the Mac thing? So listen, I know I'm at an advanced age and failing on a daily basis, but I'm going to give it a shot.
I'll tell you what, man. I've had mine a little over 2 years. Now, which one did you get? Did you get the Active Matrix screen?
Retina screen.
The Retina screen, rather?
Yeah.
I got mine 2 years ago, August. It took me a couple days to get used to not having the two buttons. But maybe it took me 48 hours. There's not a chance I'm ever getting a PC ever again anytime.
Well, I think that probably will end up being the same thing with me. I did also buy, we talked about this the other day, but the pad thing that you use, which looks very cool, but I did buy the Magic Mouse as well. And I read about it fairly extensively before I bought it, and it sounds wicked. So, yeah, after the show, I'm going to fire it up and see what I can make happen.
Oh, that's so, I mean, just, it all just, oh, God, I'm jealous for you to be able to experience what it's like to have it new again. I wish I could be you so I could experience again what it's like.
That's pretty cool. Mac. That's pretty cool, and I appreciate it. There was a twisted joke that I had in there about everything being new again, but I'm not going to go there.
Well, you're getting
because I'm sure the jealousy is that you think I'm going to enjoy similar feelings.
Could be.
I'll let you know not. Anyway, so we got a bunch of stuff today to talk about, man.
Yeah, tons.
I think we might even be able to get to all of it, or most of it.
Good. Well, I hope so, man.
So, dude, where do you want to start out?
Let's see here. Where would we like to start out today? There's such a long list of things here, dude.
Yeah, we do have.
You know what? The article. Well, shoot, man. No, you know what? You go, bro. You pick.
Okay, let's excuse me. Before we get into politics, and of course everything is about politics, or at least related, I'm kind of queuing up Jessica here. I've had this clip this is the third day now. We didn't play it day before yesterday, didn't get to it yesterday, but it's that, and I think I resent the link to you this morning, but it's this judge absolutely going off on this public defender for his lame excuse about why a suspect ran from the police. You saw that, right?
Oh, yes, I did. Killer.
Okay, so we're going to play that, and